Hello, this is Jamie Maggart. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. I'm going to be using the Quiet Meadows and the Meadows dies. From the stamp set, I'm using this one for the inside and this one for the sentiments. I'm using all of the dies with the exception of this butterfly, this little tag, and these little leaves. You could cut those out and use them as well, but I didn't. Okay. For cardstock, I have a 1/2 inch scrap of white, 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch piece of Daffodil Delight, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of black, card base, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and it will be scored and folded at 4 1/4. I also have a 1/2 sheet of black, which I've already die cut all the pieces out of, just for the sake of time, because there were so many of them. So I've got the label and all of the little flowers and the 1/2 butterfly. Okay, so I got all those little pieces. You'll also need some sort of circle cutting. I used a 1 1/4 inch circle punch. You can use a die cut. I'm going to use Post-it notes. I got a couple stuck together just because they cut easier. I'll go ahead and punch that now. Okay. And for inks, Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody, Real Red, Gorgeous Grape, and Memento. And then I have 3 of our blending brushes. So let's get started. Put this aside for a minute. And I'm working on a plastic surface. So anything that I find the plastic surface works better for the ink blending, because then any ink that goes off the side you'll pick up and you can reuse, as opposed to, you can do it on paper as well. It works just as fine. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take Daffodil Delight, and one of my brushes, ink that up, fill that up with the Daffodil Delight. And for this instance, I'm not going to worry about tapping off, but I do have a little scratch piece here for that purpose. And I'm going to start softly. And I want to do a big circle of this Daffodil Delight. And I started really soft, and now my pressure is getting firmer. And I'm going wider and wider as I go. A little more in the center. Okay, so that's how I'm going to start. Now I need to dry this because my Post-it note will not stick to the wet paper. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now I'm going to take my Post-it note. There's actually a couple here, so I just want one of them. And I'm going to place that Post-it note over that yellow. I keep the other one so I have something to hold the paper with so I don't get inky fingers. Okay, now I'm going to take more yellow. I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to go around the edge even darker. So it's even darker around the Okay, place that aside for a minute. Now I'm going to bring in Mango Melody. I'm going to use the same brush because it's the same color family. It's a yellow oranges. Okay, now I'm going to tap off a little bit so I don't get too harsh of a line. And I'm going to go starting light around the outside of where this yellow circle is. It looks about the same color at first. And then again, get harder, more firmer pressure and more firmer pressure. Okay. Now we're going to come in with the real red. And a different brush. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start out on the outside of that already inked circle. And it starts out pretty light. It's alright. I'm going to start out light. I'm going to overlap that Mango Melody a little bit. I forgot to stamp off there, so got a little harshness, but that's alright. Okay, now I'm going to come back with the Mango Melody. And I'm going to soften that harsh line there. So you're going to go back and forth with your colors. Okay. I need some more red. I need it to be a lot darker. This is where having the plastic surface is helpful, because then any ink that gets on it I can pick back up with my brush. And I'm holding it down with this circle on the center here. And where the real red and the Mango Melody are overlapping, they're creating another orange. This is not a quick process unless you want a light color. You could do it with the brayers or the sponges as well, but I like this. It's a slightly smoother color with the blending brushes. The hardest part is holding the paper down, so if you want to tape it down onto a surface first, that would be probably a smart move. Okay, let me come back in with the orange again. I'm going to come in with my microfiber towel, wipe off a little bit of the orange, because I'm going to go back into the Daffodil Delight. Smooth that out. Okay. Now, I'm going to come in with Gorgeous Grape. Just be patient. Take your time. It'll come up how you like it after a few minutes here. Okay, and I'm going to start off the page. Overlap the red. Try not to overlap the orange too much, because orange and purple are opposite colors on the color wheel, and they will create a brown. Red and purple are next to each other, so they will be complement. They will make a nice color together. And I like it nice and dark on the corners. A little bit of this purple around the edge here. If you want more control, you can hold the brush like this. But I find to get a softer touch, I hold it back here. They won't break. They're very strong. I've got quite a bit of ink on my thing here. Let's see if I can use some of it. A little bit more purple here on the edge, a little bit more on these corners so they look more purple instead of okay. Now, since I'm going to go back into the oranges, I'm going to clean off my work surface here. I don't want to blend the purple in with the orange and make a brown. And for that, I'm just going to bring in my Stampin' Mist and a microfiber. Just going to squirt one little mist on there. It comes right clean. Okay. I'm going to come back in with the red again. Blend between the purple and the red. Probably should have done that before I cleaned up my surface, but that's alright. Okay, now come back in with the orange. And then come back in with the daffodil. And it softens it all out. Okay. I need just a little bit more red right here. So just go back and forth till you get the color that you want. Okay. Now I'm going to clean this up. I'm done with these colors. Alright, let's go ahead and reveal. Take this mask off. Isn't that pretty? Whoops. Okay, now we're going to bring in all of our little elements here. So there's this one. And then this one. This one goes here. This one's tall, so I'm going to put this on this edge. And then I had this one. And about here. think I got the moon down a little bit farther this time. Some pieces I need to pop out of this. Okay, this is going to go here. And I've got this one that goes over here. This one goes over here. This one, I get my snips. And I cut off this one flower here, because it was gonna hang off anyways. So I put these ones down here like this. This one I put here. Okay, then that little half butterfly goes up in here. And like I said, I think I put my moon a little bit higher in the other one. Pull these down a little bit. Just a little bit, so there's room for the butterfly. This will go here, wherever I need it there. Okay, like that. Okay, so now I'm going to glue those down. And I'm just going to use my Tombow. I'm just going to be using little tiny dots on the back. Gives me that little bit of wiggle room I need, but also holds it very well. This one about there, I think. This one will go here. If you have any glue coming out, just pick up your microfiber towel or tissue and dab on it. It'll pick it up. But you want to use a clean spot each time so you're not transferring glue from one spot to another. Oh, come on. Alright. Now let's put this one on, I think, next. A little bit of that's going to hang off. It's alright, we're going to come back and snip it off. I'll do this one next. Little dots work better because they don't ooze out. And this flower goes like into that little space there. Might as well glue the butterfly down since it's right there. Okay, this one that looks like parsley. Not even squeezing the glue, I'm just using what's there. Okay, now this one we're just going to glue the flowers on the end, on the tip. We're not going to be using hardly any of the stem, just that very little bit on the tip. It's going to go down here to fill up this space a little bit. Turn it this way. And this one is going to fill up this space over here. There we go. Alright. Now we're going to turn it over with our snips. We're just going to clip off the little pieces that are hanging off. Just butt your scissors up against the cardstock and clip them off. Okay. Now I'm going to clean this up before I go any farther so I don't get any of this ink on the other card pieces. A little bit more mist here. The mist will clean off the glue too. It's pretty good stuff. See? The glue comes right off with it. It smells good too. Alright, now we're going to bring in our yellow piece, Daffodil Delight, and we're going to adhere this. I like the butterfly got tipped funny. I want it that way more. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this to the Daffodil Delight piece. It's just a 1/16 of an inch border because Daffodil Delight piece is only, oh, there's a piece just came off. Is that, where'd it go? Is a 1/8 of an inch smaller. Alright. Then we're going to mount this to the black piece. Again, this is an 1/8 of an inch larger than the yellow piece. Or, yeah, an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, then we're going to bring in our card base. And I'm going to bring in this little one because it fits on my table better. I'm going to look at the card stock and see which way the paper seems to be curving. That's going to be the inside of my card. I'm going to put that down and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. Turn it over so I can fold in on itself. Match up those corners and crease that down. Alright, now for this inside. Oh, I did need that block. Forgot to get out a stamp. Gonna bring in this stamp here. I had a block on my table, but I forgot I needed it. And I'm gonna bring in the I think I used Mango Melody. And Post-it note. I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to stamp it off. And I'm going to stamp it on the inside. Get out my chamois. Clean that off right away, especially with the kitten here. She's into everything. Okay, then I'm going to bring in the sentiment, thinking of you, my memento ink. I'm going to stamp that right across that. I'm also going to bring in that 1/2 inch strip. I'm going to try to stamp that on there. Straight. Perfect. Alright. Bring my chamois. I had to put the kitten in the other room because she can be laying there sleeping as soon as I stand up to start working. She's on the desk. Alright, now, let that dry a minute. We're going to put this on the front of the card. Okay, then we're going to bring in the little label that comes with it. Bring this in. I'm going to snip off the end here. Snip off the end here. So it's about centered. You could use your cutter if you want. I just eyeballed it. It's not quite straight. Okay, I'm going to glue this to the label. Center it up. I'm going to bring in a couple dimensionals. Stay put, please. Thank you. Poke those down, pop the backs off. Set that right in this space here that's pretty lonely. Shirt straight. And push it down. There you go. There's the card we just made together. It's bright and fun. Takes a little bit of time to do this inked background, but it's beautiful. Here's the one I did previously. Each one's going to be slightly different because of the inking and where you place your moon. Well, thank you for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.